So first and foremost, you have no choice but to use AI, just like you have no choice but to use a GPS, because you know what GPS is, right? It's artificial intelligence, right? It's intel that's in an artificial component that you're using every single day. Just like when you said, I don't need that cell phone thing. I have the thing with 25 feet of cable that I can go around the house and talk. Anybody uses a home phone anymore? Just like when we said, I don't need a fax machine. Just like we said, I don't need a beeper. Just like when we said, I don't need a touch phone. Just like we said, I don't need social media. Should I keep going? I don't need Uber. I don't need Airbnb. It is 100% part of our lives, and everything that we watch in Star Trek is here. You know, like you have people now like literally with the VR and they're like touching stuff while they're walking, right? So
the next wave of business leaders won't just use AI, they'll master momentum with it, starting now. Welcome to the Mastering AI Momentum Show, where visionary founders and driven business leaders turn artificial intelligence, automation, and scalable systems into real growth, real scale, and real freedom. If you're ready to break bottlenecks, reclaim your title, and scale smarter, this is your playbook. Let's dive in. Here are your hosts, Ali Porter and Elise Smith.
Welcome to the Mastering AI Momentum Show, where today's top entrepreneurs share how they're scaling smarter, evolving faster, and navigating the future of business with or without AI. I'm Elise Smith, and I'm here with my amazing co-host, Ali Porter. Hey. And today we're joined by Ali Mehdaoui, and he is a globally recognized entrepreneur. An amazing man, by the way, guys. You don't even know the half of it. He's a branding strategist and media executive with over 15 years of experience in direct sales, business development, and digital marketing. He is the founder and CEO of Emmy Studios in Eatontown, New Jersey, a multi-unit production facility specializing in branding, podcasting, content creation, and guaranteed media placement, guys. Like guaranteed media placement. It's huge. And Ali is also the host of The Emmy Show, a business infotainment podcast, and has helped scale multiple companies to 8- and 9-figure revenues. His mission is to empower creators, coaches, and change makers like you guys to amplify their message and monetize their movement. So, Ali, we're so excited to have you here today.
yeah, I love being here with you ladies. You are amazing rock stars, and I believe in your mission. I believe in everything that you're doing, and definitely rooting for you all the way to the top.
Yes.
You're
Amen.
amazing.
Amen. I love that. So, Ali, I just want to dive in, and we're going to waste no time because we could be here for hours and hours and hours. So I want to hear kind of the backstory of what got you into entrepreneurship and specifically the business you're in now. What did that look like? What hurdles did you have to overcome? What made you want to get up every morning and continue forward? Just kind of the backstory and how it got started.
Yeah, desperation or passion are the two effects that usually help you to get into business. You're either very passionate about something or you're so desperate that you have no choice but to figure out and do something. For me, it was a little bit of both. I always knew that I had the entrepreneurial bug. I used to sell ice pops when I was 6 years old in the streets in Morocco, and I sold pre-used novels that I would purchase and flirt with girls in the middle of I have 4 minutes between classes. I wrote this I read this book for you, just to kind of get something to eat. And desperation kicked in, whether it was from my childhood, the homeless days, or even when I came to the United States and things were looking very, very good. This little hurricane called Sandy has happened and destroyed everything that we were in New Jersey, and it kind of forced me to figure some things out. Jumped online, try to just figure anything out, right? The desperation mode. And I realized I was really, really good at taking an idea and morphing it into something great. And I've done it for many companies in collaboration formats, and I've done it in network marketing. And, you close your eyes and you open it a decade and a half later, and you're like, I just did $2 billion of sales, but I'm not a billionaire, right? So something is off. Or you see a lot of the companies that I collaborated with either exited, moved on, or had bad decision makers, and they're no more, but they still walked away with millions and millions of dollars in the bag, or they walk away with a huge network. They just reset. I'm here solo having to redo it again. So the decision for the studio specifically was like, all right, if I don't own it, I'm not going to build it. If it's not my house, I don't want to have anything to do with it. And it was a very scary decision simply because I love to work with people. I'm not a lone wolf. I hate being a solo act. And, I'm blessed that I kind of made my circle so much smaller. It's not even a circle. It's a triangle. triangle. It's like 1, 2, and me. And it allowed me to just have the extreme focus, if you will, and, have the right relationships based on faith and core values. And it just worked out extremely well for us as a company.
Yeah, I love that. I absolutely love that. And I love the fact you never were like, oh, I guess I'm just going to have to go do what everybody else is doing. You kept being like, okay, so this didn't work, or this needed to pivot, or this, and you just kept
Yep.
like evolving and moving through it. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs, when they're first getting started, or even if they're in the middle, right? If they're kind of, had some success, but they're not where they want to be, they're like, man, I guess this doesn't work. But that's actually not the case. It's just that you have to, like, it's kind of like a rite of passage almost, I feel like, because you learn so much. Entrepreneurship, business teaches you so much about yourself in the good, the bad, and the ugly, And so I just love the fact that you didn't quit, that you just kept going. And the other thing that I love too, because Elise and I did this as well, is you realize when you're working for, even as a business owner, if you're working for another company or working as an affiliate or network marketing or whatever, it's all good, but it's not yours. And it can be pulled out from under you. It can be, all the things. And so we did the same thing. We were kind of in that space as well. And then we were like, we need to build our own thing. Like, we need to build our own thing. And we've both done it in the past. So we're like, okay, well, we can do that again. And it was like coming home almost, is just like, some people are meant to build their own things and then other people aren't. And so I'm so grateful that you made that decision, because now we get to partner with you in really cool ways. And yeah, it's just been an awesome journey. So thank you for sharing that with us. Is there anything, before I turn it over to Lisa, is there anything that you felt really solidified your ability to run your business? Like, what was the catalyst that really helped you to see, like, oh, I can be this person on the mic, right? Like, I can connect with people. Like, that's my superpower, because it really is. Like, you are a super connector. And what was it, or how did that come to be, where you just made that decision of like, okay, yes, in this business, in ME Studios, I want to be that, person. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. The interesting thing is we all know what our gifts are, superpower. Like, we know how the movie's gonna end. We know it, right? But we just don't trust ourselves enough, and that comes back to faith. We're looking for the burning bush, we're looking for the flying dove, we're looking for those miracles, right? Like the biblical experiences. Like, okay, well, if I don't have a burning bush, I'm not gifted, right? And you tend to be so objective at what is in front of you and ignore what is inside of you. So for me, it was a repetitive process of, I'll give it to you in a metaphor, right? What wins races? Is it the horse or the jockey? Or is it the driver or the car, right? Like, that's, is it the team? Is it the sponsor? For me, it became very, very clear, especially the last 5 years. It's me. It's the driver. I am gifted. I looked back and I did an inventory for every company that I have gotten either to NASDAQ, or companies that have done hundreds of millions of dollars, or just, broke the, $2 to $3 million threshold. And I'm like, I've built it from scratch. Like, I'm in from A to Z, done every single thing that needed to be done. Obviously, I delegate and I outsource and I build the right team around me, right? Like, I'm speaking on behalf of a team.
Yeah.
But it was never the vehicle. In other words, the vehicle was gone different direction, and I'm sitting, I'm like, they just dropped me off. What am I do? I get into a next vehicle and I get it right back to where I need it. So having that multiple slaps to realize, like, dude, it's you. It was never the car. And then saying, okay, God, I'm listening now. You've been taking these vehicles away from me that I'm thinking, but this was the right vehicle for me and my family. No, it wasn't. You were the right driver for that vehicle, and you need to really focus on your gift and talent and align it with those core values and family values that I genuinely believe. Because look, I talked about this with Tanya in our podcast. Judas will always be known as the betrayer for 30 pieces of silver, right? We all have a little Judas inside of us. That wasn't an accident, right? That there was God allowed that to happen, right? Like, why would God allow something like that to happen, right? God allowed that to happen to set up an example for all of us, because we tend to compromise certain areas of who we truly are, like that gifted, incredible, perfect, pure human that we are, for the sake of, but I have to pay my bills. And then that fear of I have to pay my bill overcomes the greatness of I'm going to make it anyway. So I got battered repeatedly and publicly in many companies and or networks to finally say, I'm never going to be Judas ever again. I'll be Peter and I'll struggle with my faith every now and then, right? I'll be Matthew and I'll doubt, my own greatness every now and then. I'll be Thomas and I'll question every now and then. But no matter what, I'm going to say, I'm going to 100% move forward and keep going, because I have faith that you would not fail me. You wouldn't put me in a situation that's going to hurt me. I might not understand why it's not working right now. I speak a lot of metaphors, but it's like your child. Mama, can I play with the knife? No. Oh, why not? I just want to cut this little tape. No. Please? No. The kid doesn't understand. I cut myself so many times times and I know for a fact you're going to cut yourself. So that's kind of like the faith factor that we have to have. Like, I don't understand why you're not allowing me to have my toy now, God, but I have enough faith that you got something much bigger at the end of that journey.
Yeah.
Long answer, but I hope that covered.
Oh, beautiful.
Love it.
Beautiful. Oh, thank you, Ali. I love it. I mean, like I said, we could go for hours. So I'm going to turn it over to Elise, kind of shift gears but I hope you guys were listening to that because it really is true. Like you can think that it's the type of business or whatever, but honestly, it's you. It is you and you and you and you. You know, like you are the catalyst. You are the one that, and it's cool because it is because God gave you those gifts. You have a divine ability and he's blessed us with, you know, entrepreneurial spirits and the ability to build businesses. He's blessed other people with other things. But when you realize that it is you and it's not the business or the car or whatever, like it's you, the driver, that changes everything. And then, like you said, all you have to do is get in alignment. And that's, again, Elise and I's experience as well. Like once we finally were like, okay, you know, now we need to be in alignment. And in fact, recently we've realized like we actually are very different. And so we've been trying to get into alignment together. But really what God's saying is actually you need to get in alignment with yourself. And that will then propel the business forward in the way that it needs to. And you guys get to be like in your own lanes while still going, you know, parallel and getting to the same destination. And it's fascinating. It's such a self-development playground, if you will, where you get to experience that about yourself. So thank you so much for sharing that, Ali. I love it. Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
All right, Elise.
Especially admitting that we are different disciples at different times.
Yeah.
And that's going to affect our business results. So Ali and I were just talking about this right before we hopped on. And it's David Bear is one of the people that we watch religiously and listen to all of his podcasts and things like that. And he was saying it's the being who is doing the doing that actually helps us to create the result that we want to have or be able to give us the results that we're having. And so I like the way you can see the different disciple that you are in that moment because you know who you are. Like you know the being that is doing the doing. So I love that. That is so fascinating. Yep. So let's go into like your scaling story, your business of like how you were able to grow it to the lengths that you have. Going back to earlier, you were saying that you had to make pivots with the different types of businesses that you had, but what kind of pivots did you make to be able to grow this particular business into what you have now, which is a spectrum?
Yeah. The interesting thing is I don't think I pivoted from a business. I pivoted from a person and who they are.
Oh,
and, you know, that probably is the better way that I can explain it. I love business and I never walk away from a business. But if you are going to do something that is not in alignment with my core values, my belief system, that, you know, if I get to a point that I can't trust you with my family, if I wake up and I'm like, I got to watch him or I got to watch her, that right there, like, okay, would I want to put anybody in that predicament? You know, if I am having to watch my back with you, why would I introduce you to my sphere and my network and so on and so forth? So, and I am loyal to a fault. And you know, I believe, you know, Ali, you yourself probably are like that as well. We're like, I'm with you until we're 6 feet under. I'm like, okay, we're 6 feet under. Why did I say I'm going to stick with you? Like, you know, I knew we were going to go 6 feet under. So every time I have pivoted, and I can tell you the first time that I did was 2009. I was transitioning from traditional business, Hurricane Sandy and all that stuff. I was in a network marketing company and I love the camaraderie and network and traveling together. And, you know, it was just an amazing journey. And my quote unquote leader, person that I was following at the time, he would say all the time is like, there's 3 things you need to know about me. My faith. You know, Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. Number 2 is my work ethic. Bank on it. You know, you cannot outwork me. My 3rd thing is my word. And if I tell you something, you better bank on it, right? And that was like the moral code. Like, all right, that's what we're going to follow. And then I'll never forget the first time I started seeing 2 sides of him, right? Okay, in front of the room, he'd say those things and live by those things. He's kissing babies and shaking hands. But then everybody leaves and it's like, high five, you know, we effing just got him. We got him. Like, you know, and you're like, wait, what? So you got to get into a conflict with yourself, right? And mind you, at the time, I'm 22 years old. Like, I'm not even fully developed to even understand what business is. And I stuck it out for a good year and a half. And then I get to his rank. And he would claim all the time that he's making, he would say specifically, I can make up to $25,000 a month, which is the cap of that position. But here is what the world hears. I'm making $25,000 a month. And every now and then he will drop the up to and he says, I can make $25,000 a month. And every now and then he would say, I am in position to make 25. Now, all those are true. They're factual. I am in position to make 25,000. I can make make 20. I'm not saying I made 25. So I get to the position, and at this point, 80% of the network is mine. I'm still one of his developers, builders, right? And then I ask, I'm like, hey, dude, can I talk to you for a second? Like, get over here. I'm not making $25,000. Like, I'm a little concerned. Like, am I doing something wrong? Can you evaluate? And I'm getting the dodge. And then it got to a point, I'm like, hey, enough. I need you to open your back office and show me what's the difference between you and me, because I know for a fact 80% of the people that are in your team are mine. Where is this 25,000? And then he admitted that he wasn't making it, and that there's like all these layers of the compensation plan. I wrote about it in my book, The Lion Network Marketer. I have a chapter called Don't Ask, Don't Tell, meaning if you don't ask me, I'm not telling you about it. So there were all these claws and all these gotchas and all these hoops in the compensation plan of that company that unless you knew what you knew, like the system or the compensation plan was almost set up. If I set you up to make more money in my team, I'm cutting myself out. So do you really think I would want to set you up to make more money? So that's the don't ask, don't tell. So when I figured it out, I was like, I can't do this to other people. So that was the first time that I was like, I'm out. Then I went to a company, did really, really well, phenomenal, built it from zero to $400 million. I was one of the first 120 people in the company. It morphed into $400 million, and I had 68% of the company that was in my organization. So money was phenomenal and great. And I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. Then they sell without telling anybody 6 months before it got public that company sold. And they had me 6 months prior as the face of the company, flying me everywhere, introducing a brand new name of the company.
Wow.
I was just a toy in a toolbox that is just the mouthpiece. So they moved on to other things like, hey, let's do it again. I was like, absolutely not. So that was so I'm telling you these little milestones that would lead for me to pivot because of the fact that you dishonored a code and you chose greed. Like, look, I'm full capitalism. I'm all for making money and making a lot of it, right? But at the same exact, there's a sense of social responsibility that you have to have, right? Like give Caesar what belongs to Caesar and give God what belongs to God. And there is a lot of blurred lines in business, and it only takes one person to ruin a whole company or destroy a whole movement. And if I sense something off, yeah, I'm out. And with every company, like I mean, I kind of told you ladies about some projects that I have that are morphing right now, and I was asked to take on all operations for one of those companies that I told you about. And I was like, well, why don't we do this? Let's just date for 30 days just to kind of see how we feel about each other, and then we can engage for another 30 days after that, and maybe we can get married. So I asked for 90 days as a working evaluation, and that is just me protecting my sanity, to be honest with you, and making sure that I'm not making another mistake based on 30 pieces of silver. Sorry, I get a lot of biblical metaphors in there, but
Love it. And when it comes to your business now, is that why you kind of settled on your business now? Because now you get to control it. You don't have to be under
100%.
someone else. And so, yeah. Okay, cool. That makes
No
sense.
more Judas in this house.
Yeah.
I'm not going to anybody for 30 pieces of silver. No, because that's truly the best way that I can put it out. We compromise our own greatness, our own moral compass, because somebody says, I'll give you $10,000 a month plus, overrides of whatever.
Yeah.
And we jump on and say, we'll figure it out together. Now we're going to figure it out first, and then we'll jump if it makes sense. And unless you own a solid, strong foundation, you can't be in a position to determine, like to tell somebody who sold 500 million books, like, give me 90 days and I'll tell you if I'm going to go full. Like, you need some kind of craziness in your mind, right? But I have enough faith in that God is putting me in the right place. Man, if it's meant to be, good. If it's not, then I was never supposed to be there in the first place. And you're talking to a kid who was homeless for 3 years in a third world country. So the fact that I'm talking to somebody who's doing billions is like beyond me, So
Yeah.
I'm grateful.
And you're doing such amazing things in your business too. And I really believe that you're being blessed for being the person that God wants you to be. And I think that's really what it comes down to is you're connecting with the right people and but you have to be that person first. And so I love just kind of getting a peek into like the history of what you've done with businesses and how it really is hinging on those relationships and how smart you're being with those in the future as well. So thank you so much for sharing that. And just, I hope that helps our listeners and our viewers to think about their own relationships with their business team members or partners or whatever it is. Are you playing ball with the Judases? Or, are you working with other disciples, and who are you being specifically as well? So
just add one more piece of that. Just please don't judge yourself and think I got to cut off all ties because Ali said I'm a Judas. Like, I'm just giving you an example that we are imperfect beings, and that's how we're wired, just so you know. But just having a little bit of awareness is going to help you ease into better decisions, right? It's like, okay, I know I eat ice cream and I don't have any vegetables and I'm not working out. Cool. Maybe I should just have a little bit lesser ice cream and work my way out a little bit more, and little by little, don't look for perfection, look for progression. That's probably the best way
Okay.
that I can. So don't be calling people and say, I no longer want to work with you and shill all your income. It is into things. I'm just sharing with you how I see it and how it took me probably 5 years to get to where I am right now. So, and I'm talking about every day religiously 5 years
Yeah.
to go through this battle. So
Well,
please, operate accordingly.
and I was going to say too, I mean, one of the things, I mean, we do talk about, artificial intelligence. I'm sure we'll get to that at the end because I want to hear your thoughts on it. But the AI also stands for authenticity and impact, right? And that's exactly what you're doing. Like you have your authenticity. That's what you just shared with us. And because of your authenticity, your impact is massive. So it's just
Yeah, I
beautiful.
love that.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. We have a double meaning for AI here. So thanks so much for bringing that up, Ali. So we've talked about like when you're building a business, you have people, processes, and technology. And we talked about the people side of things. Let's go into like processes and technology. What were some things that you were able to do in your business that really took your business to the next level and your team to the next level when it comes to AI, when it comes to automations, when it comes to process and technology?
Yeah. So rule number one, budget. If you're not budgeting, I guarantee you massive discombobulated failure. If you're operating with, let me see what's in my bank account. Okay, I can buy it. Wrong, 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 wrong. So whether you have $10 today or $100,000 in the bank, you need to allocate specific percentages for marketing, percentage for deliverables, goods, for supplies, for different. And speaking of AI, you can say, hey, I need you to give me a financial plan that I can use based on and have a working session with ChatGPT or, whichever one that you're using. Have a working session, talk to it for an hour. Well, here's what I'm thinking, and here's what I'm doing, and here's how much I have, and here's how much I make, here's how much I can afford, etc. And it'll give you an outline percentage exactly what to operate with. And if it does not fit in that budget, 100% say no to it. I don't care how emotionally exciting and exhilarating it needs to be, right? Number two is having an accountability partner when it comes to that budget, because I guarantee you, man, that card feels so easy to swipe. That card feels, like, oh, it's already pre-filled. All I have to do is press submit, right? It's easy to spend money. And my wife says it, I am so good at spending money, now thank God I'm good at making it, but I can spend it as soon as it comes in. I am the guy who would be, after a convention, around the bar, and I'll be like, on me for everybody, just because that's what it feels like I can do, right? But that's not good. So budget with accountability, then outsource and delegate. You got to ask yourself a question. What is in this business that only I will be able and can and should and must do? And take that inventory. Everything else, outsource it and delegate it. And I'm talking about cutting grass. I'm talking about, doing grocery shopping. I'm talking about taking your clothes to the laundromat. I'm talking all those different things, outsource and delegate, because you may think if I cut grass myself, I'm saving $65. You're not saving $65. You gave up $1,000 that you could have made in that 1 hour. That is what you've done. You gave up 100 potential prospects that could be watching a video or communicating or interacting with you. You gave up a potential collaboration or working session to create your genius. So I outsource and delegate everything. If I could delegate and outsource my body to go to sleep, I would. Like it's areas because, we all say it, man, I wish I could clone myself. When you outsource and you delegate specifically, you can use AI agents. Wink, wink. It allows you to clone yourself and outsource and delegate a lot of those things that take a lot of manual labor. After 10 o'clock, all I want to do is talk to human beings. I don't want to do anything else. So everything is delegated, everything is outsourced. And that probably the best. I mean, we can go through a 5-day seminar on operations and marketing and branding and all the different intricate details. But if I can sum it up to you, however it applies to your life and business, outsource, delegate. If it's offline, delegate it. If it's online, outsource it. And I'm sure everything else can be taken care of with an AI agent.
Exactly. I love that. And it is fascinating because, we love Dr. Benjamin Hardy's books, and he talks about the 80-20 rule a lot, right? We really only get our biggest bang for our buck out of the 20%. So delegate and outsource the rest of the 80%. And I love the fact that you're bringing personal life into it as well, because you're expending energy in ways that you don't actually need to expend that energy. Put that into your business, put that into your family. Like there's so much goodness that you just gave us, like all those golden bombs that you just dropped on us. And I really want us to think about, like, what are we supposed to take out of this message? Like, even if there's just one thing that you can apply to your life and your business from our conversation with Ali, like that is that message that you're meant to hear today. So I love just how honest and raw you're being about the struggles you've had and what you've learned from that. So thank you so much, Ali.
Of course.
And when it
Well-
comes to going back to the delegation, this is what's been so fascinating too, because I used to own a VA agency efficiency and stuff. And so we would delegate to, human beings, and we are still delegating to human beings. We have a VA.
Wait,
We
time
have-
out. Did you hear how crazy is the fact that just listen to that sentence? We
I
used
know.
to delegate to human beings. If you said that sentence like 5 years ago, the world would be like, what does she mean human? Like,
Yeah.
who else would you work with, right? It's crazy.
And
Go on.
it's true. Like, so now we get to have AI and human beings together, and people are, whatever, they have their opinions about it. But I really believe, and I think you do too, Ali, that it's if we have the HI, right, the human intelligence plus the artificial intelligence, it's enhancing who we are as
That,
human beings. And it
that,
allows
my
us to
friend.
it allows us to do the human things that we're called to do in a better way, because now AI can take over all the other stuff,
Let
even
me
for
let
our
me
VA.
let me let me back you up there for a second. So first and foremost, you have no choice but to use AI. Just like you have no choice but to use a GPS. Because you know what GPS is, right? It's artificial intelligence,
Yep.
right? It's intel that's in an artificial component that you're using every single day. Just like when you said, I don't need that cell phone thing. I have the thing with 25 feet of cable that I can go around the house and talk. Anybody uses a home phone anymore? Just like when we said, I don't need a fax machine. Just like we said, I don't need a beeper. Just like when we said, I don't need a touch phone. Just like we said, I don't need social media. Should I keep going? I don't need Uber. I don't need Airbnb. It is 100% part of our lives. And everything that we watch in Star Trek is here. Like you have people now like literally with the VR and they're like touching stuff while they're walking, right? So here is what I would say, right? We're humans. We're going to mess it up before we get it right. We have like a good 5-year window of creating 1,000 to 2,000 billionaires. I said billionaires that will be created on this earth from AI before it's going to be regulated, limited, stop, all the things that we're seeing right now with social media, right? So I and my family use it for everything. My children are developed with AI. And what I mean by that, my son, who's about to be 8 in 3 more days, he takes his AI, his chat GPT, and he goes to the fridge and he'll take a picture and say, can you help me make something for my dad and my mom? And because his chat GPT knows he's only 8 years old, almost, it tells him based on his age what to make. Take yogurt, add blueberries to it, add granola to it, and make them a perfect parfait. And he's like, look what I made for you guys. And it's like a big deal for him. But for us, like, yeah, breakfast in bed, I could do this all day. Right? So the point that I'm trying to make is, and what you said is, AI is only as good as HI. So if I give you $1 million and you're a good human being, what happens? You're going to go do a lot of good things. If you're a bad, terrible human being and I give you $1 million, you are going to do so many bad things and hurt a lot of people along the way, right? We see it with lottery winners all the time. So instead of fighting something that is happening, whether you like it or not, why not get educated? Why not learn how to make it work best for you? Because trust me, once upon a time, people didn't have vacuums. They fought it. I'm not using that thing. It's development and evolution. You can fight it like our grandparents fought so many different things, or you can say, all right, I'm going to make you work for me now. And that's hopefully the message that I'm hoping people get.
Yeah. It's so powerful. And especially when we bring the HI and the AI component together, because it's not robots taking over the world, right? Like this is where we get to, especially at this stage where we're at with AI, we get to make it work for us. We get it to be whatever it is that we want it to be. And especially when you start creating AI agents like Ali and I do, like it just takes it to a whole nother level. So I
100%.
love this. Well, good. So this has been absolutely incredible, Ali. We have just loved having you on the show and just have loved our friendship. And, I know you have known Ali for a long time, but it's just have gotten to know you over the last few weeks that we've been partnering together, and we've got some really amazing things coming up. But if people want to know more about what you're up to and how to connect with you, tell us more. We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, well, I mean, I am 100% an advocate of what you ladies are doing, and I'm super, super excited to provide it to my network and my audience. So everything that I do, 100% is involved with Elise and Ali Porter. As per myself, I'm all over social media. Just look up Ali Mehdaoui. Our studios is where it's at in New Jersey. If you're ever in New Jersey, and we did a political campaign yesterday, like a whole event. It was very interesting to even say the least of being that. So we do it all: docuseries, documentaries, vlogs, podcasts, full production, tutorial videos, behind the scene videos, developing back office companies, anything and everything you could imagine. But what I'm starting to focus on a lot more is AI and agents. So I'd love to collaborate with you in that aspect. I'd love love to help you out in that aspect. And along the way with branding your name and message, obviously you can visit themestudios.net to learn more about me and my team personally. But I'm really, really, really super excited to serve you, to help you out any way, shape, or form possible. So you'll see me a whole lot with Ali Porter and Elise. So I'm super, super excited. Sorry, I'm programmed to say her last name. I usually say Ali P, but yeah, super excited to collaborate with you.
Oh, we love it, Ali. Thank you so much for being here. It's just been such a pleasure. Truly, truly. It's been awesome. And yeah, we're excited to see what comes next. So thanks, so guys, for tuning in to Mastering AI Momentum, where AI means artificial intelligence, but also authenticity and impact. Because scaling isn't about doing more. It's about building smarter and staying true to what matters most.
You've been listening to Mastering AI Momentum. If today's episode gave you clarity or sparked a breakthrough, share it, review it, leave us a comment, and show Ali and Elise how you're turning AI into ROI. And make sure you subscribe, because the next episode could be the strategy that unlocks your next level. Until then, build smart, scale fast, and let AI multiply your momentum.